this. I don't know what's wrong with this guy. I'm sorry for making you look like this. I'm questioning my questions. I'm critiquing my critics. What I've got here is multiple sketchbooks that I have. These are finished sketchbooks and they are numbered. These ones are ongoing. The thing is, I never really kept the sketchbook separately. They're all sketched together, or like I've been keeping them more or less together. However, I'm gonna go over these as they are numbered. This is numbered sketchbook number 1, but I started drawing in this first. Then at some point I stopped, moved to here, started keeping this. I will explain what all of these are. But yeah, this is number 1 because this is the first sketchbook I ever finished. I'm gonna start with this and then see the others. I have not opened this book in a long time. I did not start on the first page, obviously. I started somewhere in the middle. I don't remember where exactly I started, so I'm just gonna start. These are just some illustrations from Pinterest, just cartoons. This was something else underneath, and then I painted this, but these here are the markings of pages I want to repaint like this, and when I'm done I will say that this sketchbook is fully finished, because you'll see there are some pages I don't really like. Here was something similar, and in between these pages there was a painting I did not really like, or rather 2 paintings, so I just stuck them together. This is supposed to be a representation of a wind. I don't know why, it's just an assignment. Here, these are the same illustrations continued from here, but this guy is drawn from a reference, and you can see like I'm sketching, redrawing the illustrations as they are, and they're pretty bad, and here you already see like pretty big progress. Here, dog from Tom and Jerry, and this I participated in a climate change workshop where we had to come up with some type of a poster that raises the awareness, and I ended up winning in this competition. This is basically my ideation for the posters, some words, key associations. I have no idea how to sketch back then. I'm very bad. Here is some notes, so not to mix climate change and air pollution together, but these are very basic ones. So you first get the most basic ideas out of your head, and then you go into more depth. This is the same guy continued, and here's the more advanced version of thumbnails for climate change poster, and there are no final sketches of what I ended up doing. But yeah, this was again continued. I forgot the name. If anybody remembers the name of this though, could you write it somewhere? Anyway, this is my attempt at drawing the lo-fi girl. This is horrible. Here, okay, we reached the first marks. These here are sketches from lectures, notes basically of proportions and ratios, and so I decided that I don't want this in my sketchbook, and I will repaint this similar to the page in the beginning, like that. So these will be all covered in acrylics. Also this here, even though these are interesting, important concepts, I don't like these sketches, and I will have it painted. I like some of the things here, like I like how cat is sketched out here. I like these. It's like very quick sketches and very successful quick sketches, but I don't like these things written over. I'm not gonna necessarily cover everything, but I just know that I'm gonna come back and redo the page. This is not exactly the first cubes I've ever drawn, but one of them. Notes from the classes. I think I was just practicing thumbnailing here. These guys are sketches from Pinterest. These are sketches of sketches. Also sketches of sketches. I wonder if I can find some things that can be made into maybe posters, maybe stickers. Me trying to get the concept of gestures, which I have not understood by this point, as you see. These are also some figures. At this point, I'm still finding references that are basically sketches. Here also, these ones, they are impressive, but they have been on Pinterest. They were like this. Like, I just basically redid the lines because it was not from an actual hand or something, or like from imagination. This is somebody I saw. I was looking at somebody else's sketches. Still, these are impressive, but they're just that, like, they're just impressive. This is also like, I could do these basically. These are some Copic markers, but these are all, again, while they are impressive, they look a little pretty. They are illustrations of somebody else's illustrations. I think these two are from the reference, or no? Anyway, yeah, also these, also somebody else's sketch. But I guess this is already here also. This is already where I got confident enough that, so I knew what I should do, and I just kept pushing myself to do stuff so that I could see. I just liked seeing the progress. Also here, like, these are just lines, Art Deco illustrations, and these are like ornaments, patterns. They're just things to do, you know. I just liked the illustrations. I think here already some of them are references, or like maybe I think I was watching my hand, but it was just cool to see the progress. This is from imagination, both. They suck. But this was just, I think I understood the 1 point perspective, so I just scribbled some things within the perspective, and this is like, actually, I like this. Now that I'm looking at this, for the time when I did this, this is such a free hand. There's no planning in this. This is very just, you can see all the helping lines or guiding lines, and this is just like a robot coming out of the sewer. There's like a bicycle, car. Here also we played some game, my friends and I, and there was like writings for the game, and I can still see the blue ink here, and I really hated this. I did not want to rip the page out, so I just did this, like a castle walls, and you're looking at the valley. This is not much of a valley, but I like how the castle turned out. Anyway, this is still very beginning. Here you can see the difference from imagination to the somebody else's sketch. Yeah, this is already from a reference. I think I had this sketchbook for years before I finished it, because I did not draw as much at first. But at this point, I already have some concepts under my belt, but still a lot to work on. I like the red. I love this one, and I loved that I could do this. It's also not my illustration, but I love how this turned out. I was very proud of it still, because it's hard to replicate. Like, yes, you're following somebody else's drawing, but next, also this, yes, I sketched this early in the morning. I think this was the first morning sketch ever. That's why I was so excited. I really like these monkeys because I still use these shapes to draw faces. Because I did not know it back then, but now that I know how to draw better, this shape of eyes and the mouth that looks suspiciously similar to a penis. Should I not say penis? This shape that looks suspiciously like male organ is just very useful to draw human faces. My fingers are getting black. Okay. Next, this guy or girl, I like that they is androgynous, or they are androgynous, but it's from my imagination. I like how hands turned out, pattern. I see a lot of mistakes, like from today's perspective, but I really am still proud of myself doing this when I did this. Yeah, again, sketch from sketch. If at any point you see something that you would like to see as a product, I like this. think this is also from a reference picture. But yeah, if at any point you see something that you'll be like, oh, like I like this as a poster or like a sticker, I will try to digitize it, digitalize it. Also, here is already, I started approaching like a skull, but this is also a sketch of a sketch. I like this guy, but this is also a sketch of a sketch. This guy is actually, guess if you know who this guy is. I used to watch it growing up. Yeah, this is obviously painted over. This is me already tackling perspective a little bit. Here is, oh, I think, oh, I recently painted this again, but I did not remember I had this. Is this the same, but just reversed? Yeah, anyway. I did not remember this. But yeah, one of my first still lifes. I bought a new aquarelle back then. I still use this, by the way, and I just tried the colors. So this is marked to be repainted. I tried to do Jenga tower here, and then just some type of futuristic city. I don't know if it's whatever. Futuristic city with windmill electric plants on top of the building, and this is, yeah, whatever. Next we go for, oh damn, these are stuck together again. Anyway, you guys know who these guys are. Drop their names down in the comments. I don't know if I should repaint them again. Yeah, this is also gonna be repainted. Some attempt at a tree person. Also planes of the face. I'm keeping this just for comparison to my current level, so that I can look back to this and realize that this was my attempt at understanding them. And here I already understand quite a bit of it, but a lot of it is just memorizing. Yeah, I want to repaint this because it's horrible. It looks very bad, but I'll get back to it at some point. This tree I love because it's just a freehand tree and it looks very realistic for the time. I love this phone, old vintage phone. By the way, I remember having this type of phone in my house. That old, yes. And these are some perspective sketches. It's too empty, so I want to do the repainting treatment to it. These are also perspective sketches. Actually, I'm sure this is one of the first pages at least, because I have not started here. But this is one of the first pages because I wanted to learn animation, and this is my attempt at rotating cube in different directions in space, and then turning it into triangle, and then back into square, and I don't know what this is. Here's my notes. Watching a video about how confidence will transform my artwork, and then oh, the way that lays ahead. That's me criticizing my critic. Here I have this stay hydrated, they said, because I dropped some water on my paper, and you can see some wrinkles here. These are cylinders. I struggle with perspective. This is my first attempt at 3-point perspective. And here's the date of 16 December of 2020, 5 years ago now. Keep forgetting to use edges as a ruler for straighter lines, because you can pick up this whatever you have and just do like a straight line like this, and it's just like you're pushing your finger however you hold it against the edge. I don't know, maybe you knew this, I don't know why I'm explaining, but just do very straight, like, yeah. Here I'm making notes to myself. I have got to stop tilting the sketchbook. I still tilt the sketchbook. I sketch like this when I sit at the table. Something seems off about this one, a lot of things are off about this one. So I was doing the right thing, but big size gets distorted. Probably because perspective points are supposed to be far away, correct? Now I'm getting it. I don't know, I'm questioning my questions. I'm critiquing my critic. So I like these black ones, now I'm remembering these black ones are just making giving myself notes and then I come back and give myself other notes, I guess. I got really into doing this and hate the fact that I've got to sleep. Damn. So yeah, I finished at 0 to 36 and then I added 3 more. I was really into this then. Okay. Here I started, yeah, isometric view, mess because I'm drawing in a cold outside waiting for a line for my knee injection. Oh, this is the time where I got the surgery then. Okay. Here's like a room interior and outside the wall directly buildings. A bit surreal, but there you go. Still struggling with distortion and perpendicular lines. But yeah, this is interior and this is the exterior. And looking at this now, I live in a place exactly like this. It's scary how, okay, like this is a very generic crossroad, but this building is very similar to where I live. And I did not live here when I drew this. This is, anyway, perspective, more critique. Size does matter. This is me starting faces, basically. Jaw looks weird and can't figure out back head. I guess I have general understanding of planes of the head. Need to work on the chin, back head, side view, and proportions. Okay, so from here I go cross hatching. Here is what happens when you don't stop if you look away. Here I come back to the pencil. More hatching, and here these cubes are fun. This is like I directly, without making lines, I directly make cubes. But yeah, so here is all you need to know about drawing. Here is when I learned a tree. I was so happy. I just started doing these. Just random doodles with the ink. Here is where I started Lumi's head method. To draw the heads, 2021 is where I started drawing portraits, the faces. So let's see where I got from here. And then probably some video will show today, but whatever. Yeah, this is a baseline. Black was just me trying it first, and then the red was me correcting it. And here it says I wanted to tear this page out. It's filled with errors, but it's sort of a baseline sketch anyway. Then it says, let's see where I go from here. But the only way is up. And this is very good point, because I guess if I didn't see it this way, I would not be continuing with these. This is how it starts. The Lumi's head, like basically circle, and then trying to get you to understand the head in the space. Started these right after drawing the lesson. My back is killing me, but I want to finish at least one page. So I took about 2-3 months of drawing classes, just so that I could understand like this academic side of drawings better, just to have this kind of experience of people sitting down and drawing for a couple of hours together. And sometimes I spent there 5 hours, and it was, I think, twice a week. I would go there for 3 hours at least. And then I came back from one of the classes, and I guess I decided to do one page of this. Obviously horrible, made nose too short. That's not the issue here. But okay. This should be narrower. Jawline should not. Anyway, not gonna go into this. Here is just horrible. I just want to quit right now. I am rushing and not trying to be exact. I want to be able to draw a figure fast. I think I keep forgetting these sides need to be sliced off. Yes, exactly. The same problem was here. It needs to be sliced off. Like these. This is actually a very interesting face. Proportions are wrong, but I like it. Yeah, I liked it back then also. This is wrong, but it's wrong in a way that it can still make a face. Maybe I come back to this at some point. I don't know. It can be developed into something. Yeah. So I guess I had the same idea back then. I don't think I'm getting any better, but I guess I just started this method. Gotta keep going. Yes, this is better, but probably just a fluke. And the fluke it was. However, these are not that bad. This guy also. Yep, it's a fluke. Let's go to the next. Okay, this is bad, but not as bad. So I do have some progress. But anyway, so next day. This is plate 2, cross in the middle, boom. These are actually much better. Need to practice proportions, yes. Still do, always. Now this looks to me like a progress, and it does. Less, it says. Okay. My humor. These are just principles explained here, but I kept to 1 day, 1 page, except for day 60, the 16th of, what is it, February. I kind of skipped, I guess. Maybe I drew somewhere else, but not in here. Since I'm not reading the book, I think I'm writing titles wrong, so I just won't anymore. Okay, I guess. Sure. This skull in the side already looks like something, but I think in the side, the face is the easiest to draw. Here, they do look like comic books, but this frontal is also easier. But these are still very beginning periods. Look, this looks cool. It does. It does. I think I still draw like this. I have not progressed. I mean, I did, but my faces still kind of look like this. I guess we'll get there. Am I seeing progress? It's tilted, but if it's fixed, like in digital, it's a cool face from the top. But whatever, I don't think it's worth it. Teeth need solid work, so I still don't know how to draw teeth. But like, there's some bits and pieces of progress, because I kept doing it every day. And these are already good. And it's been like, I don't know. So it's been from 12th to 19th, 7 days. And look, like the book was structured in a way that it shows, if you follow along, you see progress, even though you might not have the full understanding of what you're doing. Yeah, I see, like, to make distance bigger, but this face is good. So frontal face is relatively easy to understand, and then you just need to rotate the shapes, but so many problems. Even though this makes you feel like I already understood a little bit, you know, here you get this and you understand that fuck, this is not it. I started playing tic-tac-toe here because I got so tired. So wrong proportions. Okay, close enough. This is wrong. It is wrong. This is also completely wrong. Very interesting face. Something about it. I don't know. Something about it. Anyway, yes, and here I messed this up big time. Hurts to look. Actually, looking at it now, it's not as bad. It just, the size was so small. It felt very awkward on the page, but whatever. There you go. Here it keeps getting worse. I guess I'm a bit exhausted, and I am, because what the fuck is this? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with this guy, but I'm sorry for creating you like this. I'm sorry for making you look like this. I did not mean to. This actually I like. This is a very hard angle, and for this angle, at this time of my sketching, these two are actually pretty good. Kinda, sorta fine. Yeah, this is better. Maybe if the part of the eye was visible a little more, but yeah, I accept these. Because you see, there's some progress goes into another month. Still life is taking a lot. Yeah, so I was working on some still life, and it's probably was exhausting. I'm still following. Look, I followed Loomis for quite a long time. 3 months. Yeah, what the hell? Wow. What, 3 months? Getting closer to references, but still quite messy. Keep improving. Yeah, at this point I think I was rushing in because I was like, I had this mindset where I gotta have as many drawings under my belt as possible, because at this point worrying about the quality of sketches was so useless, because of course I'm gonna mess up. So I was like, I gotta make as many mistakes as fast as possible, and that's what I did. And you can see it here. What is this? Couldn't draw any smaller? No, I couldn't. I literally couldn't draw any smaller. This is very hard to do even now. And okay, we don't talk about this. Here it was like disappointed. Oh, we don't talk about this. Okay, we don't talk about this. I messed up a date here. I don't know why. I'm probably looking at the laptop. And yes, date needs to go first, not the month. Stupid Americans. Anyway, we go next to these sketches. Gotta continue drawing the naked lady. Apparently, I was drawing a naked lady. I don't know what this is. This is just I started one thing, then another thing, and I think I started a phase. I did not like where that was going, and I just tried to turn it into something else, and then I quit, and then I started drawing another face, freehand. And at this point, I think it's what, a couple of months in, and freehand. Nice. I was looking at somebody while doing this, but I think it was my first attempt and I did not have much time. She moved quite a lot and we moved from the space also very quickly. I had no idea how to draw hair also, but yeah, I already started feeling comfortable enough here, I guess, to start making sketches of people. I don't want to discuss this. I'm just gonna cover this by hand, and this is also, I'm looking at somebody while doing this. This is also a sketch of me looking at somebody, and this was a thumbnail first to figure out, I guess, the layout, and then I sketched the person. This here, I already like where I'm going. I saw progress. Here, I love this guy. Heads off to you if you know the cartoon or a movie. Here, just random thumbnail sketches, nothing interesting. Here, I wanted to try and design a tattoo for myself, and I wanted it to do here, and then I changed my mind and did a different one. This is definitely I'm looking at the building while I'm doing this. These are from somebody else's illustrations. These are sketches from sketches, but these, I was watching this, I was here when I was drawing this, and this, I also know that this is also from watching it, like a picture of a person. So I'm already switched to references here, but not completely, obviously. Here I reached a slump because hands are hard to draw. Even here you see it's a very masculine hand. It's a illustration of an illustration, or like a sketch of an illustration, and there's still a lot of mistakes, like the nose is off, the hand is too big, too masculine. And not as bad though, because there's some good space of the head. Definitely big room for improvement. This one will be repainted though. I will keep this, I think. Also, this is a sketch of a sketch, and I was looking at a reference, so I'm already getting a bit more realistic. But of course, I'm lazy on texture, values are off, but I can just look at something and draw just like that at this point, and that's already a very big progress. Here, already attempted to understand values of the skull, planes of the skull, and values. This, I wanted to try and draw a rope texture, and here I wanted to use these shapes to make some kind of composition, and I ended up doing this, like some sort of Egypt meets aliens sunset or sunrise, question mark, I don't know. But yeah, at least there's pyramids, there's people walking in the distance, and there's this alien spaceship following. So very simple shapes, but already I can just come up with some idea and execute it. This is very cool, actually. I'm very proud still that I could manage to do this. Here also, I was looking at this piece of interior. Here also, this is, I was traveling with my friends in Europe, and when I saw this watchtower, I decided to grab espresso, a cigarette, and sketch this. And when I had this experience and I drew this, and that's where I knew I wanted to do it forever. I don't think I had this realization before this moment. This is, I like this. This is a good memory also. This is my friend from that trip also. He just fell asleep and I sketched him. This, again, as other painted illustrations, you need to guess who this guy is. Yeah. These are thumbnails for, I don't know what. I think I was just messing around with some symbolism. With sword in the stone and angel with people hanging onto a mountain. I don't know, whatever. This is also from a reference. I think, yeah, from this point I'm using more and more references. Also references. These are not illustrations of illustrations. These are already from a reference. But this was like, I drew this first and then I used the same reference here because this was not as tall as it was supposed to be, because should be thinner and taller, and this is more like a reference picture, so then I made it into one image. Now I'm realizing there's a big white space here that I can fill, and I might do that once I come back to it a couple of years later. This was also from a image photo reference. I'm not sure if the reference had horns, but this illustration has horns now. These are from like somebody else's sketches, because I still don't have this knowledge of what I'm drawing here, but it's just easy shapes, so it's easy to repeat. Also, sketch of a sketch. This is a reference picture. I like this, and it might be turned into something. This was, I really like, this was from the reference. I really like the pose, but I did not like how face turned out, and then I made it like, it's in the motion, so now it's better. Cool fix. Here it's illustration of illustrations. They both are like somebody else's illustrations, but I'm already comfortable with ink more or less. Here I say my ink shading sucks, but still comfortable with ink more than I ever was previously. Here I wanna learn how to draw smaller people, so that like maybe in the distance, some hands. Says shitty excuse for the palm. I think I used somebody's references for this, but still, I'm still figuring out how to do people. It's still very beginning of figure drawing. This here is my friend. I sketched her to impress her, but I was not impressed, so I kept it to myself. This guy is unfinished. This is underpainting of Guess This Guy. I might make a video of finishing this painting. Here I did these gestures from references. I put them in one space. Some sizes are off, but still, and then I wanted to mess around with the marker, and this is what came up. And I like this. I watched Wednesday, and I wanted to do like that. Her dance was, and the music in TikTok was popular, and I think I did the video to show this process, but I was not as good at that time. It's okay, I tried it, and it's fun. And I think I'm done. Here is unfinished attempt at drawing a face, and it's marked down to be painted over. Here also, this is some history of animation, and I will just leave it at that. And that was my first sketchbook and keeping these empty pages. I don't know why. Maybe someday, for some reason, I will decide to fill them in. But until then, it's done. Anyway, this was a tour of my first sketchbook. Let's move on to another one.